Hi, I'm Rasheed Ogunlaru, author of Soul Trader, Putting the Heart Back into Your Business, and I just want to invite you to this, our latest webinar. And today's webinar is on the topic of intention, compassion and transformation. And intention, compassion, transformation also happens to be the theme of our summer retreat this year, which is going to take place from the 10th to 16th of August in Lisbon, Portugal, by the side of the ocean. And for those of you who can't make it, or for those of you who are in fact curious about coming along, I thought I would share some of the tips and insights and actually themes that I'm going to be talking about on the retreat here in this webinar. So the retreat itself, we're going to be taking people on a journey of the 7+1 Soul Trader chapters, which are clarity, customers, courage, cooperation, conversations, creativity, compassion and change. But the theme of the overarching theme of the retreat is going to be intention, compassion and transformation. These are additional magical qualities and themes that are really, really important in business. Business brings with it all sorts of challenges. It brings all sorts of its ups and downs. And the soul trader, the person who does business by heart, isn't necessarily the same as every other business owner. The soul trader isn't running a business purely to make money or to self-aggrandizement. It's not. That's not their thing. What the soul trader is really passionate about doing is running a business that they love from a place of compassion. But running a business, being your own boss, brings about its challenges. There are uncertainties, there are no guarantees, there can be financial difficulties, and particularly when you are the only person in your business. When there's only you, one person, you are a sole, S-O-L-E, trader. Or in fact, if you're a micro business owner and you have a very, very small business and a small team, so that there are all sorts of challenges. So today I want to kind of talk about how these themes of intention, compassion and transformation can be really, really, really useful for you, whatever your circumstance, and how you can begin to bring them into play when it comes to your business. If you would like to, I invite you to get a piece of paper or a pen, or feel free to have your laptop or your tablet or whatever it is that might help you with this particular session. So feel free to stop it and to pause it if there are particular themes that strike you. Or it might well just be that you're wanting to just sit back, relax, and breathe. In a way, I want to first of all invite you to do that. I want to invite you to just sit down. Take a few deep breaths in and out, and just to relax. Because in our such a busy world, often there's just so many things to do, and I've noticed in the 13, 14, 15 years that I've been running a business, the pace of change has got faster and faster. Certainly in terms of marketing terms, where there's 24-hour media, 24-hour social media, and there's noise coming pretty much from every direction. So perhaps it's never been more difficult to get through, to be heard. On the other hand, it's never been easier to have a platform to be heard. And in this thing about business, there are these three challenges, aren't there? Operationally, to start your business, to set everything up, to get all the rules and regulations in place, and those things will constantly, or often be changing. Just here in the UK and Europe, there are big new data protection kind of rules and regulations. In your particular field, there might be all sorts of rules and particular regulations, especially if perhaps you're producing a physical product, or in certain services there are many different kind of issues in terms of compliance. And so when you're starting and growing your own business, you need to really attend yourself to those things. So that's one challenge. And that challenge there is going to require your attention, which is close by to intention, attention. Your business is going to require your attention. So there's all this noise, but it's going to require your attention. Not only are there going to be the operational challenges, there's going to be the marketing challenges. And you may have seen this maybe at your point where you're trying to grow, trying to win over more customers, create more revenue, win over different types of customers, break into certain types of markets. Trying to find people to help you to do your marketing, create videos for you, to help you with your social media, to help you produce stands at shows, whatever it might well be, to produce the labels on your bottles, or to help you produce the packaging for the clothes, whatever your product is, or to help you as you do your talks, or to build your profile, or whatever it might well be, depending on the nature of your businesses. And then of course there's the financial side, which is about profit. It's also about the tax. It is about knowing what your margins are, knowing which particular product's most profitable. It's about saving, it's about being prudent, it's about your cash flow. So these three very different things you need to be mindful of: operations, marketing, finance. So let's be aware of that as we go on this journey of intention, compassion, transformation. And I line all of those things up because, and I meet many people for whom this can be true, is that at any one time all those things can just be overwhelming, because you're thinking, okay, well, how on earth am I going to make money from this? How am I going to make this work? Be it that you're starting out and you just don't know where to start, or you might have very, very limited resources, or you're just feeling overwhelmed by all the research that you've got to undertake, or all the hoops and regulations that you need to address. I know a number of people in those particular circumstances at the moment. You might be thinking, actually, I don't know where to start with the marketing. It seems to take up so much time and so much energy. Somebody was saying that to me at one of my workshops just the other day. And then there's all of the financial sides, and you've got to make sure that you take care of the cash. And I meet so many sole traders who perhaps may not have the best relationship with money, or they feel that money isn't a good thing, and then they end up getting really in all sorts of difficulties with money, and then they're not making enough money that they might need, and then that puts them and their business and everything else they want to do at risk. So we've got to be aware of all of this. And so on the one hand, business isn't for everyone. It's a multidisciplinary event in a way. You need to be like an athlete, as I say in the Sole Trader book, that attitude of an athlete. So that I set all of that up as we go on this journey of intention, compassion, transformation. Intention. Why are you here? I ask this question so often in many of my web talks, webinars. I ask you that again. You might even want to close your eyes and ask yourself that question. I'm going to be asking that question on day one and probably day two of the Sole Trader retreat in Portugal. Why are you here? For those people coming on the retreat, there might be all sorts of themes that have called them to the retreat. Overwhelm, needing to relax, needing to recharge, wanting life balance. Perhaps many of them are growing businesses, and it's about that space to reconnect themselves, and to have that space to explore how they're going to grow and develop the business. But why are you here? What's brought you here? What's your intention in life? What's your intention in business? What's your intention in every single interaction? Is it just about making money? Is it about helping and enabling people? Is it about giving yourself a better quality of life? That really needs to be put to every single theme. And so when different challenges emerge, there might be a financial challenge one day, there might be an operational challenge the next, It might be a challenge with a customer or marketing problems the next. It's really important to ask yourself, what's your intention here? Because once you know what your intention is, it's going to be easier to place your attention there. This is a really energetic thing. I was speaking to somebody just yesterday who I might soon be beginning some coaching. And she was saying to me, you know, Rasheed, I just now want to be very authentically myself. And for the person who wants to be authentically themselves, this becomes a far easier journey. Because instead of wanting to fight life, they're ready to just embrace it. It becomes far more of a space of flow. And again, that's what the retreat is about. And the retreat, there will be lots of time for meditation, contemplation, relaxation, by the sea, by the forest, by the river, in one's own space, within the retreat apartment. Space just to be and breathe and to recenter. That is such a precious thing, because suddenly once you have that space, it really helps you to boost that sense of clarity. And of course, clarity is chapter 1 of Soul Traders. You can be clear on who you are, why you're here, what's really important to you, where you're at, what the challenges are, what your strengths, weaknesses, what your opportunities and threats are as far as you're aware of them. And it helps you to be aware of how you want to set up the business, and it invites you to stay clear, to allow yourself some time and space so that you have that energy and you have that time out and to be and to connect. Many of the challenges that you might encounter in business will be related to people. This person hasn't paid you, this person hasn't showed up, this hasn't happened, that hasn't, you're having a problem here, having a problem there, you're struggling here, or you're struggling at home, or you're just wrestling with yourself in many ways. So that thing about intention really is a really good way to ask yourself, you know, what's my intention here? And it's a question I ask myself whenever there are particular challenges, what's my intention? For me, then I'll always usually come to that point where my intention is to help this person, or to help this person to be, or to grow, or develop, or to be themselves, or for me just to authentically be me. Suddenly that simplifies everything, really clarifies everything. So intention. And that intention behind why you create, can really enrich what is it you do, whatever it is, if you're producing books, products, CDs, clothes, hair products, or if you're providing services, coaching, counselling, training, helping people with their houses, educational, whatever it might well be. Intention, what's your intention? Compassion. Compassion is love in action. Compassion is the heart of the book Soul Trader. And I'm drawn to maybe read you something. Let's just see where I find myself. I find myself on page 212. The paradox about business is that it is often started because we wish to change our lives and those of the ones we love, or because of a cause dear to our heart. But often within years or even months, the love and passion we had in the business has gone, as has our compassion for ourselves. One of the reasons for that, in the West in particular, the norm is that your value and your worth are measured by what you do, not who you are. They are based on what you do accumulate, power, prestige, post, possessions, people. It's one of the reasons that the first questions we ask people is, what do you do? What do you do for a living? It's why people feel that they're not good enough, or why they don't feel complete until they've achieved X, Y, and Z. It's completely rubbish, but sadly it leaks into seeing life through the lens of what's not in place, overlooking what is your magic. It can result in business and everything else becoming reduced to something you do robotically rather than romantically, passionately and joyfully. When challenges arrive, small or large, this feeling of failure, self-doubt, or not being good enough kicks in. This is a very loveless place to operate from. It can slowly or quickly erode your confidence, relationships and business. Compassion and its root, love, is the only cure for this empty feeling. I've coached many successful people who still feel that they have not achieved or feel unfulfilled. Again, this is all born from our false view that self-worth is based on what we gain and have rather than who we are, or even what we give and contribute. So, if we're not careful, life reduces itself to a to-do list. If we're not careful, we're beating ourselves up. If we're not careful, we're running ourselves into the ground. We're trying to build the business up, but yet we're running ourselves into the ground. We have a problem there, don't we? When problems emerge at home, we're short with friends, lovers, partner, children, colleagues, suppliers, neighbours. That ends up being a very loveless place to be doing business from, especially when you escaped, probably feels like that, perhaps the working world, or decided that you want to emerge into this business world. So compassion is about loving you, loving what you do, and loving others too. It's a journey that's best started with stillness, as we're exploring at the beginning. I can invite you now again to close your eyes, just to relax, and to just give yourself wonderful feedback about who you are, where you're at. Why don't you just bring all your accomplishments to date, what you've done personally and professionally in business. You might have just had a fantastic week, you might have just done really well financially, you might have just made a big sale, and then 10 minutes later you forget it and you're rushing on with something else, you haven't celebrated it. Or you're being tough on yourself again. Why didn't we do as well as last week? It can happen. It can happen to the world of big business all the time. And profits are up, down, what have you. So compassion is actually something like charity. It begins at home. You must begin by being compassionate to yourself. That's the invitation of life. And then being compassionate to everyone else. I was saying, it's one thing doing what you love for a living. It's another thing doing what you love with love. So compassion is everything from taking care of yourself. It's spotting when you're feeling a bit run down, when you need time to rest and recharge. I think a number of people will be on the Soul Trader retreat this time to recharge and to make sure the energy is there is really, really important, because of course we never know what might be going around the corner. I remember very clearly, and I say it in the book Soul Trader, that I rang an entrepreneur I know to tell him that he was going to be featured in the Soul Trader book. He told me he'd just been released from hospital. He had a heart issue. He had so much potential in business. I mean, he's still fine. I think his business is now back on its way, but because he wasn't listening to his heart, these serious challenges emerged. And it can happen so easily. Your health, your well-being, your heart, in every single sense, is absolutely fundamental to this business journey. Your heart health, your physical health, your mental health, that emotional health, that spiritual sense of who you are, because it's that sense of compassion that will draw people into your business. It's a very powerful calling card. Where people will see you're genuinely passionate about what you do and they're drawn to you. They want to buy from you. They don't want to buy from the person next door, the shop around the corner, because you love what you do, because you're caring toward them. So you might be listening to this and thinking, this is all very well, but where's the practical side of all of this? How is it going to help me practically address these financial issues? I found in my career, and I found in the career of people I've coached, that once the stillness happens, when one's really aligned and at the same time is embracing what one does and engaging with the world, because sometimes we might be at a point where we're clearer, we've done some of that self-development work or finding who we are, but we might be away from the world, but we're then not back in the world. And ironically, the Soul Trader Retreat has given people the time both to step back, step within, reconnect to nature and retreat in that sense. But it's interesting, the retreat is being run on the edge of a beautiful city by the ocean And with this forest, we've got this blend of being in the world, but of being away from it, because we've got to be able to very, very quickly then re-engage with it. And ideally what we want to do is carry something of the ocean, the forest, the river and the flow of life with us in all that we do. Because then we're in tune with life. So the answer to that question about how is this practically going to benefit with you, well, first of all, it's going to benefit you in terms of your health and your well-being, your spiritual and emotional well-being. Secondly, it's going to help you to be able to tune into others, to be able to hear them, to be able to understand what's going on for them. Again, when I was speaking to the person yesterday, she was pointing out to me, she's got a very high level of emotional intelligence and tuneness with people. Point out that must make the work of managing people much easier. So absolutely. So again, if you're trying to bring people on board, if you're trying to win customers, if you're not compassionate, you're going to struggle with this. I've met many people who really struggle with this. You know, one minute they open the door and people are there, and the next minute the fact that the mind takes over, or they're not heart-centered, really means that all the relationships become really challenging and a real struggle, even though they might have so much business potential. So that's compassion. So compassion is listening to your heart, but it's also the space for me where the intuition is. And then that leads us beautifully on to the third theme that I want to talk about today, which is transformation. Again, I want to invite you to close your eyes and be still. Just take a couple of deep breaths. What does the word transformation say to you? For me, it's saying so many things. It's a magical thing. It's some sort of spiritual thing, transition, transformation, transcendental. On the one hand, everything is constantly transforming. The world is changing, the economy is changing, your business is changing. Perhaps for those of you who've been in business for a long time, the business landscape's changed, the economy's changed, the government has changed, the value of the pound, the euro, the dollar, whatever it is you're doing business with in your pocket has completely changed. The circumstances have changed, your range of customers have changed. In my time of business, it's all changed. There's very little social media when I started, and the world is full of that now. Customers I started with when I started, they've moved on. I'm still in touch with some of the business clients, they've changed, or some of those businesses aren't here anymore. And I mean some of the big organisations, because of political change, economic change and so on, and that's the way of the world. So it means also that we are constantly changing, but it means that we need to keep step with change and flow with change, because you might be thinking, okay, no, this is fine, I just need to focus on this. But if you aren't also aware of what's going around you, you might well be caught up in you might be overwhelmed by what's kind of going on. So you do need to be in tune. There might be all sorts of other changes going on. So what I want to invite you to do is, again, close your eyes. And I want you to bring your attention to all the things that are in change at the moment. What are the things that are changing or have changed at home, with your family, with your friendships, in your business, in your industry, perhaps in your community, locally, in the area you live, socially, culturally, and now globally. Again, maybe I invite you to close your eyes. Where is it that you're going to need to spend some attention? And it also might require fresh intention, because we don't want to be in tension. So where is it you're going to need some attention? It's this awareness, this alertness that's going to help you to stay attuned. It might be, okay, this is a time I need to address my health and my well-being. It might be for you that you realise, okay, these are the areas that I need some support. I'm struggling with finances, I'm struggling with marketing, I need to find somebody to help me. or there might be another area, operational things, facts and figures you need, compliance issues that are emerging for you. The transformation piece, it's not just an internal thing here, it's going to probably require you engaging with other people and developing your team. But there is an internal transformational piece as we reconnect or we return to our heart. So there's actually quite a lot there within transformation. Again, the more attuned you are to yourself, the more one you are, the more you breathe into these things. Some of the internal change within yourself, you're just far more at peace with your age, your particular stage, your knowledge, how you feel about yourself. Again, that might be the journey you're on. Some of the people on this retreat, no doubt, can be on that journey of also really, really embracing their magic, their power. And then able to think, okay, well, what are the areas that I need to address? Perhaps it's a stage of business growth, bringing people on, etc., etc. I'm going to shortly begin to bring this talk to a close, but before I do, I just want you to sit with a couple of things here around transformation. What are some things for you to accept? And what perhaps is, I'm going to invite you to think one thing that you're going to need to address in terms of the operational side of your business. Might be papers, emails, structures, processes, policies in place that you need to put in place, and legal help you might need in terms of the business. Might be somebody who you need to guide you or to mentor you. I want you to then think, what's one action that you need to do in terms of your marketing? You might think, okay, I need to refresh my website, I need to upside data, I need to mention that we've just won this prize, we've just done that. It might well be, you might think, actually, we've got such a vision. I was speaking to somebody the other day, in their career, they're in such a visual field. I said to them, and they're already mindful about it, that certain social media and things like Instagram and YouTube will be powerful for them given the work that they do and given how they look and how they configure within their field for people to see them, because they're in a very physical industry which is about health and well-being and therapy and physiotherapy. So being able to be seen is really, really important there. So that marketing bit, what's the marketing piece that you need to do for your business? Might be, okay, I now need to go out to these marketing events, I need to try and go to some shows and exhibitions, I now need to be speaking, whatever it might well be. And then what's the thing in terms of your finances? I was just earlier this week writing myself a kind of 20-year, a long-term kind of financial plan. Just picking up on some things in terms of savings, in terms of pensions and all sorts of things that in the early days of the business I was unable to do, and I didn't have my area of attention on. But that financial piece is going to be very important. Maybe it's that you need to sit down with your accountant, maybe it is that you need somebody who's a financial advisor personally to sit down with. Maybe at last it's time that you need to open up a pension, or there might be other things that you need to do. So just as that phone goes, I think that might be a good moment, a bell to call us back to the here and now. So we've talked about intention, we've talked about compassion, and we've talked about transformation. If you'd like to, you might want to just close your eyes and just sit with that and just let it all assimilate. Just begin, breathe and relax. You might want to stay in the space, or for you it might be that you might want to write up some notes or put some actions into your diary or wherever you keep your notes. Or however it is you might want to be following this. I want to thank you for being here. For those of you who are interested in it, the Soul Trader and Soul Leader retreat takes place from the 10th to 16th of August in Lisbon, Portugal. We've got a special website set up for that, which is Soul Trader Retreats or soultraderevents.com. You can type into either of those and you'll find all the details. There's a video, you can see the details about the program, that we're running, which includes mindfulness, it includes meditation, there's yoga available, there's some meals provided, as well as the opportunity for you to go out and experience Lisbon itself. There's going to be time by the ocean, there's going to be time by the forest. If you like, this blend of leadership, business and self-development, as well as this being time and time with nature. So if that appeals, take a look at the website, and there's an email address there for you can get in touch with the retreat team. Lee on the retreat team would be more than happy to speak to you. The email address there will take you through to Lee, who will be more than happy to chat to you. If you've got any more questions, I would say hurry, because spaces are limited, and depending, of course, when you're watching this, it might well be completely full, or might be years on. The retreat may have happened like 5 years ago by the time you've watched this. But if you happen to be watching it in the run-up to, was it June or July, or even potentially at the start of August, there might be space, who knows, but I'd say hurry if it's something that appeals to you, and don't be afraid to give us a call, drop us a line if you're keen to learn more. Okay, I just want to thank you. Remember, there's more resources on soul-trader.biz, the main Soul Trader website. Remember, you can find me, there's a Soul Trader Facebook page. I've also got my Rasheed Ogunlaru Facebook page, and then RasheedOgunlaruZara.com website. And of course, remember that there's a Soul Trader podcast also. And you'll find links to the stuff on Soul Trader, soul-trader.biz. Or if you type my name into a well-known search engine. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Take good care. Bye-bye. See you soon.